So, first quick note, this is actually in fact my 101st review. Yay! Because I didn't actually realise that the last one was number 100, but 101st one, start of a new 100. I got nothing. Then a second quick note is these two games will be judged on their own merits. So if you're expecting both in one review, it's not. The other one is coming next. Okay? Okay, so with that being said, let's dive right into it. I think it goes without saying for all the good games of 2017. This soundtrack is fucking good! Like, really good. So much so that here, you can find the tracks in the game. And here's a little mixtape player so you can play them while you're walking around. So you can have your favourite tracks on anywhere. Oh, look. It even has a shuffle mode. Fancy. So, yeah, the music is really good, with each track being a beautifully remastered. So, add it to the list for Soundtrack of the Year. They look great, and Superstar has made the transition from pixel art and sprites to full 3D models and areas really, really smoothly and nicely, with every area now benefiting from the 3DS's hardware by allowing additional shaders, lighting effects and sparkling textures to make all of the areas look damn amazing. Like Stardust Fields, with the shimmering crystals on the floor, combined with their faint glow, it reminds me of Ultra Space from Sun and Moon. Or where we go to fix Queen Bean's plumbing, the ambient glow from the torches near the doors, combined with the shiny wet look of the area, being that there's water everywhere, it all looks fantastic, and it's a huge step up over its original counterpart. This is where things start to have a few minor nitpicks, not so much in terms of the story or the world that has been built itself, but more so in the things within the world and how they didn't make the jump as smoothly. Like, the Bean Kingdom itself is really well made and very creative. It uses a lot of manic smiles everywhere, doors that look like mouths, and of course the residents themselves. It's all very memorable, and it makes me wish that Shiggy would stop being an idiot and allow for more creativity like this and 1000 Year Door. But no, Shiggy must have his status quo, so a lot of the creativity when it comes to the Koopa enemies, at least, have been sucked out. Like in the original, oh man, look at that Lacapy, it looks strange with only the eyes poking out of the cloud, and its cloud looks a bit different, and oh, that's just a regular status quo Lakitu with a vine round the cloud and a sprout on its head. That's nothing special. Or the Bean Koopas. Oh wow, look! It walks on all fours. That's different from a normal Koopa Trooper. I can't wait to see them in 3D, like the ones in Super Mario Galaxy that are on all fours. And that's the normal Mushroom Kingdom Koopa Trooper, just with a sprout on its head. You know, it's like Alola in Pokemon, right? This Vulpix looks different from this one because it's a different region. It allows you to try new things you couldn't with the originals. Not just keep the originals and add a sprout to its head. Still, at least Sexy Bird Boy is in it and is perfectly fine. Can't change him, can you, Shiggy? As like the guys over in Japan who do the official lore, who said Mario is now officially retired from plumbing, they also made it officially canon that he's a boy, and everywhere around the world, like Happy Jappy Video Game Land, and here in Fish and Chips Tea and Scones Land, he's now officially a boy. So while he can't show up in modern games because, it's this transgender pink dinosaur, you can't take him away from this one. Also, oh fuck, they're in it again. I know they were in the original, but they feel so forced due to that other mode that we'll get into next review. It's really interesting, as like with Thousand Year Door, the Far Out story allows for more unique areas to explore, as during the story, a shape-shifting magic being called Cackletta, who despite many like Dark Console saying you can't make the old creepy witch bean thing sexy. Oh, ye of little faith, this is the internet. It might take some digging, but everything is sexy on here. But regardless, crazy old witch bean thing Cackletta comes to the Mushroom Kingdom and steals Princess Peach's voice, because her voice has the power to awaken a sleeping entity known as the Bean Star. That is a bean in the shape of a star. It's pretty self-explanatory. And so, in order to get it back, Mario and Luigi must venture away from the Mushroom Kingdom to a new region of the Bean Kingdom, where everyone and everything is a magic bean. So after them mustachioed Italians jump the border, I mean quite literally we have to play a mini game called Border Jump, we get into the new land to take the jobs of the bean people, more specifically the knights, by doing their job of saving the Queen Bean for free. Because why pay your own people to do a job when you can get an immigrant to do it for half the price or even free? Man, throw that story out there in the current political climate, ooh, there would be blood. But in jumping the border to save Peach's voice and the Bean Kingdom, like with Thousand Year Door and Rogueport, we get to visit more varied and interesting locations. It's not just generic grasslands, desert, jungle, ice world, fire world, boss. We get more interesting levels and ideas. So, like level 1 in the Stardust Fields, we are basically walking around Ultra Space trying to find 100 coins in order to free Bowser from the cannon he is stuck in. World 2, we are ascending the mountain of Dragon Roost Island to find the Bean Prince, and we have to fight the dragon at the top of the roost. And World 3, we are walking around a twisted version of the grasslands, where smiling bean statues gaze from up on high, and the trees are giant bean pods with the same demented smile. And it all results in a section within the castle where the bros actually have to do some real plumbing. I mean, it's a bit inaccurate now that Mario is officially retired according to official law, but okay. And this adds to making the game fun, as the worlds the story has you go to for the different quests are strange and unique, much like Rogueport and its weird levels of the Glitz Pit, the Orient Express, and Twilight Town. No, not that one. And because of this, it makes me want to keep playing. Every time I streamed it and it was time to stop, I had a hard time pressing the close button because I was that invested in the story and the world the story was creating. But moving on, our quest to stop Cackletta and recover the Bean Star allows us to cross paths with a host of colourful characters with their own charms, like Prince Peasley, and when I saw this rainbow effect and the blonde hair do this, all I could think of was... the Mushroom Bros, the strange weirdo that has gained much fan praise in the form of Fluffle, and of course the sexy pink Dino Bird Boy himself, eventually resulting in a fight with Cackletta over the Bean Star, which, as we learn, has an amazing power, and if activated correctly, it can grant immortality, with one pulling some Xehanort Kingdom Hearts shit and allowing one to transfer one's soul from vessel to vessel.
And now, Terra, it is time for the final union! What?
At last our moment is here. Out with the old and brittle vessel, and in with a younger, stronger new one. I swore I would survive, and be there to see what awaited beyond the Keyblade War. And now it is your darkness that shall be the arc that sustains me!
With Cackletta taking over Bowser in the first of what Nintendo seems to grow a fetish for, the Bowser possession fetish, with all the things that he's been possessed by. And with that, possessed by Cackletta, he is turned into the transgendered ruler of the Koopas, known as Bowletta, complete with perfectly round reptilian boobies. And again, if you think that's one crazy face that can't be attractive, think again. There are many that want to push up against the female boobies and take the male D. Some of you, like Dark and Tyler, said it could not be done, but we did it. And now we have seen a hot Bowletta and a hot Cackletta, and I bet Amanetta is going crazy for the former. Also, I just realised it's not just Bowser that has like the possession fetish. Nintendo just has a possession fetish in general. I mean, Bowser has been possessed many times. Peach has been possessed by the Shadow Queen. And in Odyssey, Mario is a demonic Pazuzu body snatcher that claims your body as his own, possessing it to do as he wants. And in Odyssey, like, there's this normal man, this poor man, who must be terrified that he is now being puppeteered against his will by a stereotypical Italian man as he's forced to grow a mustache. What the fuck, Nintendo? You freaky Pazuzu body snatching bastards! What is your deal with this possession fetish? But of course, as the good guys always do, we free our anti-hero from his possession to fight the possessor, in this case Cackletta's soul itself, for the fate of the world. And close but not quite. Either way, it's a fantastic story that keeps you hooked all the way through, which is certainly a good mark when it comes to RPGs that can tend to be quite long. This is where it starts to slip slightly for me due to one thing, but we'll get to that in a moment. But first off, the gameplay is really good. It's a very nice blend of overworld exploration for the secrets, a bit of puzzle solving to get through the dungeons, and of course the combat. And every one of these sections is really well done. The puzzles are not too complicated, making it very accessible. The exploration of the overworld to find the buried treasure is fun, as the spots are very clearly marked and the journal keeps track of how many beans you have dug up and how many blocks you have hit. Even the amiibos are not fucking bollocks like Samus Returns. They do what Iwata intended them to do. What they are intended to do. Each day you can tap the Mario amiibos this guy is looking for, and this guy will give you a few extra of each bean. A few beans. That's it. a few T-beans, he-beans and woo-beans. Things you can find infinite amounts of from grinding. So either way, you're getting an infinite amount of beans. This is just a few extra a day as a little bonus. This is what Amiibo are supposed to be. A little bonus. So here's, you can get infinite beans, but here's a couple of extra beans a day. That's what they're supposed to be. Not the, oh, we locked a whole section of the game behind the toy for true fans, and only true fans will buy it. Fuck off with that shit. Now the combat, on the other hand, is the bit I kind of hate. Well, mainly just one thing about the combat, but it really pisses me off. So, like, all the combat for this game, for the most part, is really great, as unlike most RPGs, we have the Paper Mario system where we can attack with normal jumps, hammers, use some BP for team attacks, item or run, standard stuff. However, it is possible to get through the whole game without getting hit theoretically, as if you are good enough, when it is the enemy's turn, like Paper Mario, if you press A at the right time, the enemy attack can be dodged or even countered via a reaction command that leads me into the reaction commands. As being it attacking for extra damage or countering the incoming damage, it's so responsive. Like in the old Game Boy version, I could never hardly get the counter down. Hence, I kind of didn't like the original. But here the tech has gotten better, and boom, one-to-one interface. I touch it and Luigi, oh yeah, go daddy! I can hit that shit nearly every time. And it's like a whole new world has opened up to me, and I get to experience the game again, brand new, like a whole new experience, a whole new look on this game. Then you get the hammer. Fuck, is that a bad idea? Okay, so here is the problem. The one thing in this game that really fucks me off. So once you get the hammer and you're in counter mode, one of two things can happen. A jump counter or a hammer counter. And I've asked people that were in the stream, I've asked fucking Mario and Green Mario experts, and they have no fucking clue what dictates it. And in some situations, it's really fucking annoying. Like, oh look, this is a big thing. I can't melee counter it. I need to jump counter it. What the fuck was that? What the fuck? How is that fair? How the fuck is that fair? I could have jumped that. Why the fuck did you put me in hammer counter mode, you asshole? Just let me pick. Don't randomly switch when you fucking feel like it for free damage, you cheap bastard.
That wasn't very everyone, but here you go.
So, my final verdict for Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Remake is a really good 4 out of 5. Nearly everything about this game is perfect when it comes to a remake. It's the Crash Insane trilogy of the 3DS. The music beautifully remastered, the graphics redone from the ground up with all the new shaders and stuff to make it look amazing. Adding a tracker in the menu to each area so you know how many beans and blocks you're missing rather than blindly guessing like in the originals. The reaction commands being a lot more responsive than their older, slower GBA counterpart. Like the Insane trilogy, everything has been redone and it's head and miles above the original by far. If you're going to play Superstar Saga, this is the version you want to play. This is the definitive version. My only one downside is the whole random counter thing. I've been told at this point it's what the game thinks is best for you to do. And yeah, I get that. And it's alright, but it would have been nice to have the option to pick myself how I wish to counter. You know, in case you think the game is wrong, as you don't know what's best for me game. It does not break the game in any way. Most people won't even notice it, but some might, and for those that do, it will get a bit frustrating at times. And I don't think it would have killed them to add an option of if you wanted to auto attack or manually pick, you know, like if you just wanted to do all jump counters, all hammer counters, etc. However, never let a Mario and Luigi fan hear you say that. As like saying, I think Dark Souls would be fine with an easy mode to Dark Souls fans. Saying, I think Mario and Luigi could be enhanced a bit more if there were a few options on how I want my counter moves to go, be it all jump counters, all hammer counters, or you choose for me. Well, if they hear you say that, they will lose their minds that you're trying to give more options to other players. Like 4 out of 5, a game that I really like, because of that one thing that could be enhanced by an option. Well, that's the new 7 out of 10 Breath of the Wild, which is still a really good game and I like it. I just think it would be better if there was an option to turn off the weapon fragility. That's one of those right there. As that last part did happen. Because how dare I try to add options for other players into the Mario and Luigi games. I mean, you must be like Nintendo. You must be a very close-minded individual. Your mind must be covered in all of these regressive Nintendo fanboy chains. But don't worry, because as the greatest dragon in gaming, I can help you break them chains. Them chains of love.